friends, it's Amanda here, and this is the final video in my Best of 2020 series. Today it's all about my top favorite palettes of the year. I try to stick to only products that were released this year in 2020. Sometimes a few products from the previous year sneak in if they didn't get a fair chance to be in the favorites last year. But for the most part, these are products that released this year in 2020. This is the third video in a 3-part series. The other 2 videos are already posted on my channel, so make sure you check those out. We talked about everything else that's not eyeshadow palettes. My favorite lip products of the year was the first video, and then the second video was mostly focused on face products. A couple other things thrown in there as well. Today, it's going to be my top 15 palettes. Apologies if you've already watched the other videos and you've already heard this little spiel that I give. First of all, there's no possible way that I could buy and try, test, review every single product that comes out in a year. It's just way too many releases. So my favorites, of course, are only based on the things that I was able to try. I've reviewed a lot of things on my channel this year. These were my favorite products that I tried. And you know, we all have different preferences, different styles, different textures, different skin types, different skin tones. So what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for everybody else, and that's okay. Sometimes I'm not gonna like things that you love, and you know, vice versa. So just keep that in mind. This is just based on the things that I've been able to try, and of course my own personal preferences and style. So just don't be upset if your favorites didn't make it in, or if I love something that you hate, okay? Promise? We're good? Alright. A lot of these I have already reviewed. The vast majority I've either reviewed or I've posted a swatch or a tutorial or something. So I will link all of those reviews down in the description box. All you gotta do is just click down there and you can find more info about whatever you're interested in. That way, this video isn't an hour long. Nobody wants that, not even me, especially me. In spot number 15, I am cheating because I'm putting more than one palette in spot number 15. These mini palettes from Juvia's Place are so cute, they're so useful, and honestly I can't pick just one to be my favorite because I really think that these are best when I mix at least 2 of them together. It's almost like making your own custom palette, but not that much work. I'll just grab 2 of these. I like to pair one of the colorful ones and one of the more neutral ones together. They're a great little size. The pigmentation is incredible. Each one has 6 shades. I think they're really nicely and thoughtfully curated. There's a great mix of tones and finishes in each one of these. I just have thoroughly enjoyed playing with these. This one, the nudes, mixes so well with the more colorful palettes for me. The formulas are just lovely. The colors are beautiful. They're fun. They're interesting. They're really affordable. All around, I just think this is such a great direction for Juvia's Place to go in. Sort of the antithesis of those really, really large palettes that they've released in the past. So I only have these 4, the nudes, the chocolates, the violets, and the berries. I know there are several more. I would 100% be open to picking up more of these in the future, but I love every single one of these, and I just think that they work the best together, so that's why I'm cheating and putting these Juvia's Place mini palettes all together in spot number 15. In spot number 14, a very controversial palette. This is the Gather Round Sisters palette from the ColourPop and Hocus Pocus collaboration. Hello, it's Editing Amanda here. I just wanted to sort of clarify this because when I was editing, I realized that if you had watched my video with the best and worst of 2020 ColourPop palettes, where I ranked all 35 palettes that ColourPop released this year, then this placement might seem weird because the Gather Round Sisters palette didn't really rank super high in that video. And just hear me out because I kind of used a different process for this video versus that one where it was purely just comparing those palettes to each other. And this one does have a lot of things going against it compared to other ColourPop palettes that I ranked more highly. It has a pressed glitter. The launch was not really great for a lot of people. But in terms of just being a really special release, this one definitely fits that bill. So when I'm pulling my top palettes from the year for this video, the best of 2020 video, I'm really thinking about it differently. I'm thinking, which palettes would I absolutely have to take with me into the next year? If I'm only going to take 15 palettes from the year 2020, this one kind of benefits more from being nostalgic and being really special and limited edition. And, you know, it's just a different process. And I realized when I was editing this that that probably seems strange. And I hope that this clears that up a little bit. I know maybe that seems weird. Maybe it is weird, but that's just where my reasoning comes from. So I just wanted to go ahead and clear that up in case it was confusing, because frankly, it kind of is confusing. So anyway, back to my face now. Okay, thanks for listening. All right, bye. There are a lot of feelings surrounding this palette. We talked about this not too long ago in my ranking all the 2020 ColourPop palettes video. The demand was crazy. A lot of people were not able to get their hands on this one. It was never restocked. It's, like I said, there's just a lot of strong feelings about this palette. Personally, I love the color scheme. Jewel tones mixed with neutrals is really my jam. I love the movie. I love the packaging. I love the shades in here. It looks like this is what I'm wearing, but it's actually not. Although with these shades here, you could probably get this look. Some people hated it. Some people hated that they couldn't get their hands on it. Personally, I really love it. I wish there wasn't a pressed glitter in here, but other than that, I love it. There's a lot of drugstore palettes in my favorites. There's actually a lot of drugstore products, period, in my favorites this year. And I think there are only, out of 15, I think only 4 of these palettes are retail priced at over $30. Here's a surprise favorite. I'm pretty sure this palette has been discontinued, sadly. This is a collaboration between CATRICE and EMAN. I just picked this up on a whim. I wasn't really expecting too much. Frankly, the CATRICE formulas haven't been awesome for me in the past. This palette is certainly the exception. Everything about this little neutral palette just really works for me. I like the simple, compact packaging. I like the mirror. I like the balance of mattes and shimmers. There's a great spread of light, medium, and deep tones in here. This is just such a useful little neutral palette. I could see almost anybody using and loving this frequently. I wish that it was still around. If I can find any of these online, I will most definitely link it for you. Such a great release. I wasn't even familiar with the collaborator, but she killed it. Speaking of surprise favorites from the drugstore, I have you guys to thank for this one. I picked this up on your recommendation. This is the E.L.F. Retro Paradise palette. Super cool, reflective packaging. The background being this corally color kind of threw me off. When this was first introduced, I didn't pay too much attention to it. I just thought it was a weird, thrown together looking palette. But once you see it swatched and you see the half neutral, half colorful layout, it really starts to make sense. These shades are great to play with together. I love that I can throw in a little pop of color here, but I don't feel like I have to invest in a really crazy colorful palette. As somebody who doesn't typically go for these brighter, more tropical type of colors, this has just been really fun and interesting to play with. There's a couple of duochrome shades in here. I'm absolutely shocked by the formulas in here. There are a couple shades, especially the green and purple, that weren't quite as good for me, but overall, I've just been really impressed by this palette. I've really enjoyed it, and I really think that it's one of the best of the year, and that's why it's in this video. Bet you picked up on that. I might be the only person that continues to talk about this palette. This was released very early on in 2020. It's the Cool Crush palette from NARS. Something about this little color story just really continues to interest me. I know, I didn't expect it either. I did a full swatch and review with this one. I absolutely have loved and enjoyed this little palette all year long. If you don't look at these teal shades, it's more of a standard light to medium warm neutral palette, which personally I like that and it works well for me. These two teal shades are stunning. I don't even typically wear colors like this, and when I pull out this palette, I want to wear a teal blue eyeshadow. These shimmery foil shades from NARS are so beautiful. It almost feels like a Super Shock shadow, just how soft and metallic it is. I think the formula is beautiful. I think the packaging is beautiful. Such a fun, unexpected favorite release for me. I hope this is still around, honestly, because I think this palette was really underrated. All right, in the number 10 spot, I'm gonna sneak in a palette from 2019 that I didn't get my hands on until 2020, and it quickly shot to the top of my favorites. This one's from Colored Raine. It's the Power palette. I love purple. Purple is my favorite eyeshadow color to wear. This Power palette has some of the most beautiful purple shades. This one right here called Truth is so incredible. I want to eat it. I'm not going to, especially because this palette's discontinued now, but this whole palette, the colors make me hungry, and I mean that in a good way. I won't talk too much about this because, like I said, it's discontinued now, sadly. If you have this palette, go and pull it out of the drawer and use it. If you don't, then I'm sorry that I just told you how awesome it is. But it's awesome and I love it. Okay, we're inside the top 10. I hope I'm not talking for too long about these palettes. Next, in the number 9 spot, this one's from ColourPop. It's the Making Mauves palette. Like I said, I really love purple, but I don't typically love cooler tones. And this palette really changed my mind. This has some sort of purpley, sort of cooler tones. It's on the cooler purple side of neutral, let's put it that way. I have genuinely just really enjoyed using this little palette. I love the way that it's set up in these little trios. It's useful. It's not anything crazy exciting. It's something that really inspired me to try some tones that I wouldn't normally reach for. Anything that inspires me or surprises me or gets me out of my comfort zone is something that I usually end up really liking. So that's number 9, Making Mauves. This next palette is also discontinued, I believe, and also from the drugstore. This is the Jungle Rock palette from Wet n Wild and Bretman Rock. This packaging is so bright and fun, and I'm really pleased to say that the colors inside are equally bright and fun. I was absolutely shocked at the quality, the opacity, just the absolute richness of these shades. This is sort of like a colorful palette with a pop of neutral. There are some great neutrals here. I like to ground my colorful looks with some neutral shades, and this really just gives me everything I need to play and create some fun, bright looks. I can also get some easy little 2 shadow run to the store looks. This was just a great surprise, a great palette. I'm really glad that I picked this up while it was around. This one was earlier in the year, and it sort of reignited my interest in drugstore products once I saw how fun and interesting and high quality the products really are in the drugstore these days. So that's Jungle Rock. We are on palette number 7. I have a feeling you'll be seeing a lot of these palettes in people's favorites this year. This is from the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop collection. It's the Cotton Candy palette. Of course, is the purpley one. I love purple, okay? Really love this for a lot of the same reasons that I've been repeating over and over again. Really, really cute packaging. It's fun, it's whimsical, it's bright. That sentiment is echoed in the shades inside. Pink, fuchsia, indigo, violet, half matte, half shimmer, really bright colors, intensely pigmented, easy to work with, affordable. Honestly, what are they doing, these drugstore brands? I don't know how they're creating such fun, interesting, affordable products, but I hope they keep doing it, whatever it is. I actually loved this one so much that I picked up some more of the Sweet Shop collection during their semi-recent restock. I did a big old BH Cosmetics haul that I'll share with you very soon, and I might have picked up some extras of these Sweet Shop palettes for some little giveaways. More purple eyeshadow. I like purple, okay? This is from the KALEIDOS Futurism collection. This one's called Lunar Lavender. I've already done a swatch and review video with this one. Look at that shade. Look at that. It's so pretty. I really appreciate that there are both colorful shimmers and colorful mattes here. We do have a couple of very neutral undertone neutrals. This whole thing just works really well for me. I'm not going to talk about this one too much. I was just raving about this in my underrated purple palettes video, but go watch that one. I love this one. We're in the top 5. Oh my goodness. In spot number 5 is the Lil Ray of Sunshine palette from ColourPop. Packaging is just 10 out of 10. I love sunflowers. I have a big sunflower tattoo in my half sleeve. I love yellow. This is an all matte palette. I believe it was their first all matte palette. The formula of these matte shades is literally like butter. It's so soft. We've got this really, really bright yellow. We've got some really mustardy yellows, which I love. You're gonna see more of that in a minute. Just a really well-rounded, interesting release. It's something very outside of the box for ColourPop. ColourPop released 35 palettes this year, which is crazy when you say it out loud. And obviously, I think this is one of their absolute best of the year. Really have enjoyed this. I don't often want to do an all matte look, and this palette kind of makes me want to do an all matte look. So like I said, anything that kind of shakes up the norm for me tends to stay on my radar, and this little palette, just something special about it. I don't think any of the rest of these are going to be surprising for anybody who's been watching my channel this year. In spot number 4 is actually the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. It is the Naughty palette from BH Cosmetics. This was part of their holiday release. First of all, it's gigantic. Second of all, it has 2 pressed glitters in it. If you know me, hi, I hate pressed glitter. By all accounts, I shouldn't love this palette. I don't like pressed glitters. I don't like gigantic palettes. I haven't honestly even had BH Cosmetics on my radar at all until this year. And this palette, I've used this at least once a week since I got it. Everything in here, save for the glitters, really spot on for me. I love the mix of neutrals, bright colors, lots of jewel tones, that mustardy yellow that I love. Oh, it's so rich. It's beautiful. I already reviewed it. I'm gonna try my best to stop talking about it. This palette is on sale right now. For sure buy it. 100% for sure buy it. It's so good. I love it. Look how cute my eyeshadow looks today. It's this. It's so good. Now, that BH Cosmetics palette would have been in 3rd place if it didn't have those pressed glitters. It could have edged out this one. This is the Pumpkin Spice palette from Too Faced. Color-wise, I'm really enjoying this in the same way that I enjoy the Naughty palette. We have this gorgeous mixture of some brights, some neutrals, some jewel tones. We've got some really gorgeous kind of offbeat colors, especially for Too Faced. I don't really associate Too Faced product with olive green and this mustardy type of orange. All around, this is really interesting. I've really reached for this palette a lot, and I've really, really enjoyed just playing with it, creating some fun looks. The only thing I'll say is this is quite strongly scented like pumpkin spice. So if you are not really down with fragranced makeup, probably isn't the one for you. But I have a full review if you want to hear more, of course, you can check that out. My number 2 palette for the year is one that I raved about a lot. It's this Rust palette from Melt Cosmetics. I told you that I like mustard yellow. This is such an interesting take on a neutral palette. It's really useful. The formula is very user-friendly in my opinion. It blends really well. It stays true to color on the eye. It's easy to just pick 2 or 3 of these shades, throw them on. It doesn't have to be too intimidating, too intense. You can also get a little bit more creative with it, doing a deeper, more smoky look, adding some of these brighter colors in. This has just been absolutely so fun and enjoyable to use every single time I use it. This is one of the most expensive palettes, if not the most expensive palette in my favorites this year, and it was truly worth it. You've probably already guessed which palette is my top favorite best of the year. It's the At Forest Sight palette, the Raw Beauty KRISTI collaboration with ColourPop. Every single thing about this palette makes me happy inside. I love the packaging. I love the shades. It's this really sort of grungy jewel tones, little rainbow. Probably would have swapped out this sparkly matte black for another shimmer, but I can't even complain because this color story is so fun to play with. The shadows are absolutely gorgeous. This little blue-green section down here is something really different for ColourPop. These shades are so rich and saturated. It's so good. It's so good. Go and watch my review video if you haven't already seen it. You can watch me turn into a sappy little fangirl and almost cry over how happy I was for KRISTI. I shouldn't say that in the past tense. I'm still happy for KRISTI. Now she's got a baby. Oh my gosh. See? 2020, good things did come out of 2020, and one of those good things is this palette. I love it so much. I cannot stop recommending it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. Okay, friends. Typically, this is the part where I would say, I want to hear what you think about things too, but guess what? Before we get to that, we're going to do a giveaway with some of my favorite palettes of 2020. I've never done this with my yearly favorites before, but I think it's really fun. And, you know, it's been a weird, sometimes very sucky year. So let's go out with a bang. Let's go out on a fun note with some of my favorite palettes going into a giveaway. I am going to choose 4 different winners. These are some of my top palettes of the year. The Naughty palette from BH Cosmetics. See, it's all wrapped up, still brand new. Got a new one for you. The Pumpkin Spice palette. Nice brand new shiny one. They actually sent me this one in PR after I had already purchased my own. So this one doesn't have an outer box, but I mean, it's still a brand new palette. I haven't touched it. I'm not going to let anybody else touch it. So there's that one. Then there's an At For A Sight palette. I got this one as PR, but I really wanted to support the launch. So I bought another brand new one for you from ColourPop. So there's that. And then this Little Ray of Sunshine palette. This one also doesn't have an outer box because this came in one of the holiday vaults, but this is a brand new palette, completely untouched. So there will be 4 winners. 4 of you will get to try out one of my favorite palettes of the year. All the details are going to be listed down in the description box. There's going to be a little link down there, so make sure you read all of the details about all the rules and all that mumbo jumbo, and then click the link to fill out the form to enter. Giveaways are really fun. I think they're fun. I like sharing my favorite things with you and just showing my appreciation to you because, you know, especially this year where I just haven't seen a lot of people at all and I haven't been going out and socializing and hanging out with people. So this has really been my social interaction and I just can't tell you how much that means to me. I'm a pretty extroverted person, so it's been really nice to have all of you guys here. I know you're not in the room with me, but I still feel like we're hanging out when I'm here filming. I feel like I'm hanging out with you. So I just, you know, I appreciate you being here with me. I appreciate your support. I appreciate all the nice comments and all the great recommendations and just everything. You know, you guys are really cool. You're really cool and I appreciate that, so thank you. I'm gonna try not to get too sappy. So now's the time when I want to hear what your favorite products from the year were. What were your favorite palettes? Do we have any of the same favorites? Do you have any favorites that weren't on my list that you think I need to try out? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure you check out the previous 2 Best of 2020 videos and make sure you click that little link and enter to win because these are great palettes. Some of the best of the year, some might say. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! From 2019 huh? Hey! Getting a little crazy. I've been filming a lot today. The other 2 videos are already I swear I'm not drunk. Couple other fun I'm sure a lot of people think it sounds ridiculous to do that disclaimer. Trust me, every single time I do a favorites or a ranking video, I get people who are straight up pissed that I don't like something that they like. I don't know. I wish this was a White Club. It's really not that big of a deal, honestly. If I don't like your favorite things, it doesn't mean that I don't like you. Too much? Maybe. I hate talking about this palette. I really like it though. Either if you I get it together. For some little giveaways, we're giving away palettes like crazy. I feel like Oprah over here. You get a palette, you get a palette, you get a palette. All of these are just really, 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 really good. Oh wait. It's what? Okay. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna try. Whoa, I almost dropped them. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I'm just being weird now. I'm sorry. I apologize for how I am. I feel like I'm the most awkward person in the world. Maybe I'm not. I'm probably not. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Can we talk about this eye look? Can we talk about this olive and burgundy eye look? Look at me wearing green eyeshadow. Aren't you proud? Oh, look at those juicy, dewy cheeks. Okay, I'll stop. When I have a really good makeup day, I just like am really feeling myself sometimes. I hope you feel that way too. I think everybody should feel that way, at least sometimes. Not in a stuck up way, but in a just like, I'm cute kind of way. All right, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being such a cool friend. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great new year. Please stay safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And just take care of yourself. Take care of the people around you. That's just such a good thing to do all the time, but especially on New Year's, okay? All right. I love your face so much. Okay, all right. I love your face. Okay, it's so cute. Okay, bye.